Episodes 1, 2, and 3 of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms functionally splits the season in half, and today we're going to talk about 3 things, that being the practical, egg is not an egg, and Dunk is a horse. Now let's get started before I lose my train of thought. The first 3 episodes introduce us to a bunch of fun new characters, the new tone, and carry us along to the inciting incident. We get a very clear and strong arc with Dunk, his hope, his disillusionment, and his eventual tenacity. And this arc of realization is supported by a bunch of really great, unique characters. Lionel is not only a standout actor, but he is also a testament to how expansion on the source material does not have to spell the end of a TV show. When done with care, it can add depth that the original work might not have even had. The Laughing Storm is portrayed as just that, all smiles and all fury, and the expansion on his character honestly lets me forgive the fact that he doesn't laugh during any of his fight scenes. He is a quintessential Baratheon. A little Robert if he was bookish, a little bit of Stannis if he was silly, and a little bit of Renly if he looked like a Baratheon. Ultimately, he makes for a very interesting mentor for Dunk, pushing him to be proud of what he has to offer and seeing value in him. But he is also a slap of reality. He sees relationships as transactional. He keeps Dunk around because he finds him interesting, and he is as fickle as any other lord. He cannot understand Dunk's problems, and he does not care. Also, bro, the little jig that they jug explored more Stormlands culture than we've even gotten in the books. It's maybe Slavic-y, and it really just breathes some life into the world. Red apples and green apples are 2 sides of the same coin. Every time a Fossaway is born, the gods flip it, and the realm holds its breath. I loved the Fossaway's performances. I love Rayman. Everybody loves a good sidekick, but he was awfully bold saying what he did about the Targaryens, but I suppose that's just showing the gradual decline of Targaryen power. These 2 youths showcase how 2 different people born of the exact same situation can come out completely differently. Stefan wants for power and station, where Rayman wants for loyalty. In the same situation, Dunk, with his brute strength, could be a great force of destruction, but instead he chooses to do good. You can choose just to be nice. The Targaryens are here at Ashford Meadow not because they want to be, but because they have to be. With no dragons, they have to make themselves known to their people. In a situation like this, exercising power can be seen as necessary. Aerion certainly thinks so. Killing a horse and maiming a man only to be shown that this wanton cruelty is exactly how the Targaryens were brought so low. When Aerion attacks Tansel, that's weird. Red apples and green apples are 2 sides of the same coin. Every time a Fossaway is born, the gods flip it, and the realm holds its breath.
Knock the seeds out of him.
The seed is strong, I think it was.
The seed is strong. What does that mean?
Anyway, Baelor is the opposite. When you have power, doing good is easy, but you also have no reason to do it. In the face of all of this reality that Dunk has been hit with, we have the picture of nobility, and not because he has the biggest chair, but because from each moment to the next, when he makes a choice, it is either selfish or it is gracious, and the choice is important. When he quizzes Dunk on who Sir Arlen bested, it's not like remembering the name of the Lord of Casterly Rock is very difficult. It's like asking an American who the governor of California is. He asks a simple question because he's kind, and he sees the exacerbation in Dunk. And Dunk sees in him his vision of knighthood, goodness for goodness sake, a shining light amidst the bleak reality, an example to aspire to, and one I'm sure won't end in tragedy. Bertie's portrayal is incredible, and he might not be what I imagined from the novellas, but the added depth is there. He commands the room, but he does so with a smile and a thoughtful tone. He is decisive and thoughtful, really a leader that we would all want. I do also appreciate the fact that they gave him heterochromia, trying to link to Valar, his son, whose actor does actually have heterochromia, and it's also kind of hinting at their Dornish ancestry. Finn Bennett was fine as Aerion, probably my least favorite actor here, but he does add kind of a more calculated evil as opposed to, Viserys's petulant insanity. Tamsin was good. Not much to say there. Tencel boils Dunk down into his very base components. In her words, or not her words, all men are fools, all men are knights. In Dunk's meetings with her, we see him as foolish and naive and goofy, but we also see him as strong and kind and heroic. He doesn't even think twice before he acts to protect the innocent. He stands tall when it matters and a choice needs to be made. He is the knight that he thinks he should be. Also, the puppets were dope. I didn't even notice the ninjas the first time I watched it. But bro, it is everyone, not just the major characters, but all of the side characters that add dimensions to this story. Red and the sex workers draw that connection between them selling their bodies to nobles as well as hedge knights selling their bodies to nobles.
It must put its body at hazard for the pleasure of strangers. Ain't that our job?
Plummer mistaking Dunk's ambition for wanting glory, when in reality it is Dunk wanting to do great deeds of good.
A tidy sum for a young edge knight who presently calls an elder tree home.
It's an elm.
Steely Pate and many others initially being standoffish, but then realize Dunk is actually just like that. He is a real person, and he is actually just that earnest. He's endearing, and they can't help but simply like him, much like us as viewers, which is, of course, helped by the fact that Peter Claffey is doing a super, super amazing job. All of these characters paint a picture of a living, breathing, vivid world. They respond to Dunk's hope and aspirations, give him reality and disillusion, and then end up feeding his tenacity in the end. Our future is in our own hands, and hold on. Anyway, love the sets, love the color. We've lifted the grayscale finally, and I think that we're ushering in a new era of Game of Thrones television. I could talk about the millions of things that are making this an amazing start to this season, but we gotta move on. Let's talk about topic 2, baby. Egg is not an egg, like Duncan is not Duncan. They are mirrors of each other and they reflect their truest selves. Egg is Aegon Targaryen, the most respected name that you could have in this universe. But when he hides himself away and attaches himself to Dunk, he shortens it to something much less noble, something far more simple. We can see at the end of episode 2 when Dunk is giving his very cool speech that Egg is playing at being the warrior and is seemingly much more himself there, pretending to be commonborn than he is being his true self, a noble. In comparison, Dunk of Fleabottom is somebody that should not be taken seriously. But Sir Duncan the Tall, now that is somebody that might be able to command some respect. Sir Duncan is what Dunk aspires to be, and like I said in my last video, to fall asleep, you must first pretend to be asleep. When does pretending simply just become your reality? Aegon is learned, astute, sassy, and wealthy, but he is also Egg, humble, hardworking, and friendly. Dunk is simple, poor, and directionless, but he is also Sir Duncan, honest, tenacious, virtuous, and gallant. They might be lying to each other, but they are not lying to themselves. Dunk is a horse. In fact, he is 3. In some ways, Chestnut, Sweetfoot, and Thunder are representing a few different aspects of Duncan's character. The 4 of them are the only things of real value that Sir Arlen left behind. Chestnut was an old stot, worth little, but always did as he was told. This can represent Dunk of Fleabottom, who, while squiring for Sir Arlen, rode the stot for all of the years of his training. Chestnut represents Dunk's past, all of the hardships and diligence, and Chestnut stays with him. Even if Sir Duncan needs a warhorse, he can't be rid of his past. He needs that pack horse that is carrying all of his baggage. Sweetfoot is a palfrey, a horse for nobles, and it's the one that Sir Arlen rode for all of these years. Sweetfoot was an easy ride and worth a great deal. Dunk was able to pretend that he was someone of value up until he gets to Ashford, where he's met with the reality that the life of a hedge knight is not so simple. In order to pursue his dreams of greatness, he had to sell the comforts of the present as well as his memories of Arlen for something more real. Thunder is a warhorse, something large and dangerous, and something that Dunk needs to be. Sir Duncan the Tall needs Thunder if he wants to see any success in this tournament. Much like Dunk threatening to clout Egg on the ear, he says Egg is lucky that Thunder didn't kick him in the head, but neither actually follow up on these threats. And we see as Egg trains with Thunder, spurs him on to action, he does the same thing for Sir Duncan the Tall.
You are a knight of the realm, sir. You can say fuck their permission right into the list, call out Longthorn Tyrell, and turn his arsehole into a lance hole.
Duncan the Tall doesn't want to be disrespected any more than Thunder does, and when he's met with respect, he does act. Sir Arlen warned Dunk never to love a horse, because there's a very high likelihood that they will die under you. But it didn't stop Arlen from sometimes spending his last copper on a treat for his horses. I assume that it's very similar for his squire. Arlen couldn't help but treat them all with care in his own way. After his sir's death, Dunk and the horses are Sir Arlen's legacy. Okay, conclusion time. Thanks for watching. Discuss in the comments or something, and goodbye.